Okay, I want to ask something first, Joe.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Um, Aside from how everyone feels about it, I don't know how you feel about it yet. Um, what was the was there a small explosion in that room when RDJ came out?
Oh, it was electric. You could just feel the tense of oh, oh, oh. Ah! I mean, like the audio can't capture it well enough.
Yeah,
It was an
did you
absolutely
know did you
insane moment.
know or do you have any
Yeah, yeah,
suspicions?
yeah.
Okay.
I had a guess. There had been an article, and this I was going to talk about on the podcast from the week before. Um, I want to say his name is Jeff Snyder. He has the In Snyder or whatever like newsletter. He's a journalist. He's done like stuff for, like Variety, Big, whatever. And he had put this thing out and been getting passed around of hey, like we have this we have this information that supposedly there's been talks around specifically RDJ coming back to play Doom, but then he stayed up said like, oh, my sources like said that's not happening, like it's not a thing, and this is like from a week before, so I was like, oh, I guess it's not happening, whatever. But then when you're there in person and things are going the way they're going, you're like, wait a second. They straight up the build up to the moment is like the Russo saying, we need one of the greatest actors of all time, one of the greatest actors of this generation. Like only one person can really pull this off. And you're like, there's very few actors that you could put in that category, like for them to do. And when he stepped forward, like all the Dooms move aside, and he steps forward as the Doom, it's like you could tell just like from the stature of the person, you're like, there's only a few people this could be. And I
Hmm.
was like, it's either like freaking Tom Cruise or it's
Oh,
RDJ. Like it could have gone either way because like the hide and like the bill, whatever.
right.
But yeah, no, it was RDJ. And
Okay.
that was a huge moment.
Okay.
Huge moment. I mean, I guess I should go through kind of just like a high overview of some of the highlights
Right.
and
Right.
some stuff doing out
Sure.
there. So we'll start off with that and give a little commentary on like how things were going.
Yep.
I got in on Tuesday night last week Tuesday night. Wednesday was preview night. Before going into preview night, I was able to go to the Comic Con Museum in Balboa Park. Balboa Park is gorgeous. If anyone goes to San Diego, it's just a beautiful area to go to in general. So they opened up a Comic Con museum there. They had extended the invite for us having the press pass to go out there and go for free, and also just to and cover it and give an inside look at it, and also do an interview. So I went out. I was able to tour the facilities, and then I had an interview with Courtney Gant. She's the senior advancement director at the Comic Con Museum. Super sweet, nice lady. Took her time, really walking me around and showing me a lot of stuff. And then we did an on-camera interview. I'm still editing it. I'm
Okay.
still in the process of. It's like almost done. Once I have a little bit of time here over this weekend, hopefully I have it edited and have that posted. Um, we'll give you a little bit of a look at it, but it was a really good conversation. We talk. You'll one thing you want to listen out for those who are interested in going to Comic Con and you struggle with the Comic Con lottery. I talked to her about the Legends Pass. That was one of the questions I had prepared, and listen to her explain about the Legends membership. It's something that's a great way to get people, so yeah, like that's one of those things that like highly recommend for everyone to check out. And then yeah, so after that, then I went that night to the convention center. Preview night, just basically where you get 3 hours of access to the show floor. And from there, like you're good, you get to go through and just see some of the activations before the mad crowd. There's a few panels technically, but not really on that front. So I took time to really just go through the show floor best I could. Get some videos. If you guys check out the channel, you'll see I have some walkthroughs of some of the booths. Just talk about the show for a little bit. Like they did not have any any major like photo op areas or experiences on the show floor. it was very heavy on just like selling merchandise and items,
Oh,
which
okay.
is kind of what most show floors are like other conventions. But for Comic Con, I found it a
Right.
little bit weird. Like if
Interesting.
you go to MegaCon or something, that's usually how it is. But
That's
San
how, yeah,
Diego is a little
that's what I've
different.
seen from MegaCon. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's like it's pretty standard for everyone, but like for San Diego, I thought it was a little bit different. Marvel had a really cool booth. If you look at the video, look, it's very simplified. They usually their booth's one of the most crowded areas for obvious reasons. They actually have a stage on the show floor that's separate from the other things, and a lot of times you get random appearances, giveaways, this, whatever, and that area becomes like a mosh pit of people just pushing into the area, and because of that it's just tough, to try and get over because security starts telling people you have to move, you can't be there. So they made their stage and their layout. If you look at the video, see it's very different from the past. Really cool. They had a Captain America Brave New World, the costumes on display, and then they also had the Deadpool and the Wolverine costumes on display, like from the actual set. For the Captain America Brave New World one, that one's interesting because, and I'll talk about when I talk about some of the footage that they showed us. But you get the look of the actual mask that Sam Wilson was wearing as Captain America, and that yeah, the real just two
The
versions of
new
this
suit.
the new suit,
Yeah,
which
which
it makes
looks
sense.
really good.
Looks really good, and
We
it
didn't
makes
talk about
sense.
that trailer because we haven't been here in a bit.
I know, literally.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, and it makes sense, right? Because like Iron Man needs a mask and stuff because of the altitude. He's a human going in certain areas and stuff. Like he can't be just wearing these really cool sunglasses. He's got to be able to like do something else. So yeah, I like that was one of those like cool like get a close up look, um, and like I think then from there, DC they had a pretty decent booth. They usually have a little bit more going on, but their booth was a little smaller. They were selling like a 75th anniversary Superman statue that was kind of cool, gold statue that everyone's taking pictures with. Funko had a good area. AMC had an actual booth, like they had like a little AMC. Look at the AMC theater concession stand. I was like, this is hilarious. AMC is out here. What is this? Um, but yeah, that's some of the main things I talked about there. Was not as exciting as it's been in the past, to be honest with you. I was a little surprised. Um, and from there, you also have you have then the next day being a Thursday. Um, so I spent Thursday doing a couple different things. I'm trying to remember fully what I did on Thursday, but one of the things that we did is we did the outside experience for Abbott Elementary. That was fun. I don't even watch that show, but it was crazy, dude. They had like a festival based on I guess one of their best performing episodes the ABC had, and it was like Ava Fest or whatever. They had swings. They had like the strongman game and like the water like shooting target. It looked like a full like carnival
Like a
like setup,
fair
like
almost.
legit
Yeah.
fair. I was like, this is like a little fair outside of comic. It was crazy. I mean, Marvel had a cool thing too on the outside, on the other side for the what's the name of the Marvel mobile game? Was it Marvel Legends or Champions of Hero Heroes of
Oh, yeah,
Champions,
yeah,
or
yeah, yeah. I know which
you know
one
what
you're
I'm talking
talking
about?
about. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They had like a huge Ferris wheel on the other side of the convention, outside the convention center. It was pretty cool to see that. But I had fun out there. Got some free hats and stuff. For um and then for the next thing we had was I got to do the Percy Jackson and the Olympians panel. I've talked before about the show. I've enjoyed it on there. And the sense, dude, it was crazy to see how packed and how much passion there is for this show. I thought it's a small Disney Plus show that, it's not that it's doing bad, but just has a niche following.
Right.
But really had a lot of people. Um I just think that literally like they I just think that literally they took it in a place of just kind of taking it of like a fanfare, celebrating what they had done before with the season, and then at the very end they then teased the new season. They didn't really talk too much about the upcoming season, except for they are going to have spoilers. Perseus' brother that some might know about showing up. Then from there, like that's where I didn't get into. I did not get into the thing I was talking about before with Wolverine and Deadpool. So I ended up doing it's the Her Universe fashion show. Ashley Eckstein does the voice of Ahsoka Tano, hosted that. her team gave me press access to go out there and cover. Really appreciate that. Some really cool merch and stuff. Like there's like a hoodie I have. I got the show one of these days that I got out there that it has like the dark saber like behind it, and, like the Mandalorian logo on the front. I just appreciate the fact that they have like merch that is not your traditional nerd that's like just put an IP on the front of it and sell. Like it's actually creative, it's interesting. So the I'm not this is not a paid promotion. I'm just saying think it's like if you're looking for like cool nerd clothes and you don't want just to wear a shirt that has, a lightsaber on it, like do
Right.
something cool about it. They do that. So then for the next thing, they ended up then I ended up getting my wristband for Friday morning was the Amazon panels. Now outside of Marvel, like this was some of the best stuff I'd seen at Hall H. They had the boys first, and then they had Rings of Power. The boys, like the first thing. So one of the things that they did is Warner Brothers has done this in the past, but they literally have these panels all on the sides of the room, going around the sides of their with these screens that come out, and it's just absolutely insane. Like the pictures don't do justice when you're experiencing the immersiveness with a surround sound and these things flashing around the side of you is nothing you get in a movie theater. It's even more cooler, but. They had a musical number from some of the top songs that they sing like in the show. They
Yeah.
brought actual Broadway singers there,
Yeah.
like to sing. And they talked a little bit about some of the new stuff coming up. They showed a trailer for Gen V and some other projects, the spin-off that they're doing as well for gosh, I forget the name of the group. But then as you know, I don't really watch the boys. That's why
Oh
I
yeah, yeah, yeah.
don't know enough to
They're
get
doing
through it.
a Soldier Boy spinoff.
Yeah,
That's what I
that's
heard.
what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just so then literally they then like we go then we have the Rings of Power one. The Rings of Power one was crazy, bro. I the Rings of Power one, they had the live, like a live choir with the composer, and they had like these drums, and they're just like singing like whatever about Adar. And if you follow us on X, there was the only place that the video would actually post. I put on there. I'll post it on other places too, for sure. But pretty cool moment there. They showed us what all the rings look like. We got the new trailer, which I'm pretty sure they put out online.
I
I
think it's
think.
out there. Yeah, I haven't watched
Um,
it.
and with the new trailer there, and then we had like a behind the scenes featurette. But the and short of it is, um, there's a lot of characters that you have from the films that we know of the original trilogy and from the books. Obviously, the books preceded the films, but like spoilers, like it's in these trailers you've seen it, but it's like Belrock is in this new season, and you have the aunts are in the new season, and you have a troll that's in this new season, and some other things like that. That's pretty cool. And then like they addressed some of the concerns that some people had from the first season. One of them that I've talked about a little bit were like some people were mad that they were like, why is Galadriel like this warrior, but like Elrond's just like the scholarly bro that's just whatever.
Oh, okay, okay.
And I know people would be like, like, hey, like he's a warrior. We know that from these other things. Like when they show that, well, they literally course correct that here. You get like, you know, Elrond in full battle armor, like riding into war, and like I forget the statement, something like let us bring death upon our enemies today or whatever, and just charge forward. It's like some cool stuff like that kind of sets some of the concerns aside. You also have from there, like a pretty cool like war sequence. They give us a behind the scenes feature that they didn't put out where they show us a lot behind the scenes about the stunts and some of the war things that they're doing. I want to say, don't quote me on it, but I want to say they're doing like a 3 episode war arc. Like it's gonna be spread across 3 episodes.
Oh wow. Okay.
And so it's gonna be pretty lengthy. There's like this really cool sequence when like the orcs are bringing before Adar like this like they have like captured up like the main troll character that's gonna be new in it, and like Adar's like, bring him to me, and they're like, but sire, he kills our own kind. Like, don't like we can't let him loose. And he's like, bring him to me. I don't care. I'll tame him. And just cool moments like that you could just sense like it's gonna be intense. It's gonna be exciting. Some adventures. It's gonna be action packed. Um, then from there, you have another thing where you start going into then some of the other panels that they had for the day. The next thing I did was a Collider directors on directing. It's kind of cool. As you had the Olympus Has Fallen director and the White House Down director talking at the same time. It's kind of funny because they both made obviously similar movies, similar timing, and the director that did the Patriot is the same one that said Olympus Has Fallen, and he had some really fun stories to tell. But the main thing is that I spent the rest of the day waiting to get in for Saturday. Had to get my wristband for Saturday, make sure I was gonna get in for that Marvel panel. I knew I couldn't miss it. Flash forward to Saturday, get in. First panel of the day is Superman and Lois, final season. Ironically, they started that show in the middle of COVID 3 years ago. You guys know I've ranted about that show quite a bit, but I digress. Spoilers, if you haven't watched the last season, Doomsday is battling Superman. He's flying out into space and he's away. And Lois, they show us a clip of, and they put online afterwards of, Lois misses him and she uses the lights, the beacon. And as Superman and Doomsday are fighting each other from planets away, he hears the call and he's just obviously going to try and make his way back home. So that's the last season. That show's coming to an end. But I think the one interesting is the actress playing Lois. She took an opportunity at the end. She's like, I know there's like DC fans in here that are sensitive to our show ending and feel like it's James Gunn's fault or something like that. And she's like I want to be clear. I talked to James. What they're doing is great. Like, don't worry, but our time has come to an end, and fully endorsed what James Gunn's doing, unsolicited. Like there wasn't like a setup question for it. So I thought that was interesting. Most of the other stuff didn't catch any. The Keanu Reeves has Berserker panel. He's Berserker comic that he's been working on. He's actually has a movie that's coming to Netflix, a live action film that's in the works. He's got a writer working on that, and he's also working on an animated series as well for the Berserker comics too.
Cool.
So that comic has not only grown with Keanu you assume Keanu is going to play the character because he looks like him.
Right.
It's based off thing, but we'll find out. Star Trek didn't really. I took a nap. No offense to the Star Trek fans.
That was your nap time.
That was my nap time, and I can tell you from like when I went to the bathroom break and I walked down, literally almost everyone down the other aisles were taking naps too. It's for those who love it. Please, I'm not trying to slide it.
Isn't like that new Star Trek thing like not good?
I have no idea. I couldn't tell you. It's weird because they just keep making more. So that's why I'm like, is it doing good or is it not? I don't. Is it like Star Wars where they keep making them, but it's not?
I saw some videos out there and it looks not good.
No,
it's unfortunate.
There was only one thing that they showed us at the very end, and it's a movie with Michelle Yeoh, that's coming out on Paramount Plus in 2025. That was like the one thing I was like, oh, this actually looks pretty good. I'd check that out. But everything else just wasn't for me. Then you had the Penguin panel, which was interesting because Colin Farrell was not actually present. He actually was on another. He said he was filming another movie. They didn't say what movie it was. I have no idea. But he actually videoed like zoomed in, like what we're doing now.
Oh, okay.
He zoomed into the room. It was very funny. But once like Matt Reeves was there, and they talked through the project and basically was saying how the storyline that they had here was at one point was going to be the Batman 2, but they took Batman out of it and just kind of focusing on what happens when Batman's not here and what happened with the Falcones in the last movie. And now Falcone's daughter feels like it's her birthright to take on, the running Gotham. But then obviously Cobblepot feels like it's the same, and they have a history with each other and make a mini series out of that. What we saw from there just, still interests me. I thought the Penguin was the best anti-hero villain of that movie. I did not like the Riddler that much. I've been since I don't think he's terrible. I just didn't love him the way other stuff. I felt like the Penguin was the standout. Like that Penguin stuff was so good.
It was really good.
But then, so then, yeah, like, so then you get to Marvel, and let me, it's so crazy because people taking naps and this, whatever, and the energy just rises in the room. People wake up when that Marvel logo shows up. So, like, they started a little bit late. Smoke starts going across the room, right? Like, there's like a fog. They have a fog machines going all around, so we know that they're about to do something. All of a sudden, the red and white lights start flickering, and a bunch of Deadpool variants start running and dancing down the hallways. In comes in a choir, and they're singing, "You know, I want to take you there." You know, right? They're just
Yeah.
great. Um, so then from there you have then, from there you had them jump right into Kevin Feige coming on stage. Usually you get the whole phase four, not or new phase, like
Oh, the
timeline show up on
timeline,
the
right?
screen, right? And that's when people get excited. They didn't do that this time. Feige says we're going to show you 3 films today. Not They did not talk about Agatha. They didn't talk about any TV stuff at all.
Wow,
Acted like it didn't exist, which I found to be fascinating.
interesting. Those are
Only film.
write-offs, dude.
Those are right. I don't. They don't have faith. I don't think to
Did,
to have to go that. And
okay,
that's. We didn't talk about it on the show because I don't care, to be honest.
we never talked about that trailer, right? That Agatha trailer. The
No, no.
so that was like She-Hulk vibes, dude. Because the trailer, it was the same thing. The trailer starts and it's like, yo, what the heck is this? And then about halfway through the trailer, things start going down. I was like, oh no, oh does not look great. So, I don't. It's gonna be there. I'm probably not gonna watch it, but whatever.
No, exactly. I'm not. I have no interest in catching. When it all drops, I'll probably just jump through and try and catch through a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Um. Yeah. I think that it just made sense. Like, just going with the films and promoting the films that they had. The first film was Captain America: Brave New World, which I talked about a little bit there. Brought the main cast out. The director did not come out; he had COVID.
I saw
Um,
bits of the panel. That one.
yeah,
Yeah.
totally. No, yeah, super cool. Mackie was having a lot of fun out
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
at
Yeah. Yeah.
Tom Holland's expense. Uh, yes, Harrison Ford was there, which was awesome to see Harrison with my
Yeah.
own eye. Like, the legend is here. This is
Right.
great.
Right. Right.
And he looks great, man, for his age. He's running on stage. He's running
Yeah.
over and he's kicking Anthony Mackie with his shoe and putting his arm around and stuff. They're just having fun. Like, this
Yeah.
is the stuff we did on set. He gave a good endorsement saying how, like, he said, I talked to other actors. I saw the fun that they're having with Marvel, and I wanted to get in on the fun too. So it's like, clearly word of mouth is like people enjoy working with Marvel Studios, which is great, and especially for an actor of his tier.
Yeah.
We got the new trailer. New trailer. I can spoil some stuff if you guys don't care what the footage was.
I'm
But
good.
first opening sequence, they show us it's a summit. The summit, some of it you've seen a bit before, but with President Ross and some of the world leaders. He says that they have made a discovery. Captain America helped them make this discovery. They found the celestial cord in the ocean, clearly from
Oh.
what we know from Eternals, and they have found a new element, and this element needs to be shared with the world for discovery. And I think that they basically say, like, hey, what the new element is adamantium, and everyone goes crazy because, like, oh my gosh. So this is how adamantium comes to it. You imagine that probably Strikers is going to hear about from this, and,
Right.
and other things, but they do it accurately. But that was a huge discovery. Um, they There's an attack from what's believed to be the Serpent Society, because we now know that John Carlos' character is the king of the Serpent Society. Um, there is a lot of crazy action set pieces, like just aerial action set pieces on land. Remind me a lot of like Winter Soldier style action
Yeah.
set pieces,
Yeah, that's the
in
vibes.
a
Yeah.
great way.
That's
You
good.
see the White House get blown up, and you also see, like, on the front lawn of the White House, that there's, like, General Ross is, like, surrounded by General Ross, President Ross is surrounded by, like, his Secret Service. He kind of pushes them aside, and he's hulking out. Obviously, goes full red. And we saw full Red Hulk. Like we didn't get we saw the whole thing.
Yeah.
Looks really good.
It's
It
good.
looks
Okay.
like
That's good.
Harrison, but in a cool way.
Yeah.
Um, so that was fun. You got the Thunderbolts they had next. Thunderbolts was kind of interesting because uh Thunderbolts was kind of interesting just because they took things and they had like the actor David Harbour. He came out in costume, like running through the audience, was
Yeah.
having fun, joking
So
about it. But they didn't talk too much. I think they were trying to speed it along a little fast because of what was coming towards the end. But Florence Pugh talked about how like she likes to do a lot of her own. She wanted to do more of her own stunts. I know there's a lot of stunts in the project, and then says, "Oh, you want to see some of the stunts?" and shows us footage. So we got to see footage from the Thunderbolts. Basically, the footage that we get from there, they're showing us like the Thunderbolts are each of them in their own places in life. Like they are not happy because they're not really like doing anything for their potential or doing the work that they're used to doing. Like the Red Guardian is just like bumming out, drinking beers like on the couch. You've got the what's this dude's name? That was in Captain America, Falcon and the Winter
oh,
Soldier.
U.S. agent.
That U.S. agent. Like he's like a stay-at-home dad or something. Like they're each like doing stuff, but like they're not happy where they are. And then something happens where they all get like an invite to go to this one particular place, and there's a lot of cuts, so they're hiding things, but they start fighting each other, and it's like, wait, who sent you? Who sent you? And then in comes Bob, which is ironically the same actor who plays Bob in Top Gun Maverick, and he's like, wait, you guys all got the invite too. Doors all shut down on them, and we don't know what his ability is, which is interesting because all the other characters we know for the most part because we've seen them on screen before. He's probably the only one that's actually like a powered character, is my assumption, because everyone else is kind of grounded,
Right.
guns, special training, weapons, those kind of things. Um, then like from there, they give us a lot of action pieces. They show the characters like walking similar like they did in an Endgame, like how everyone's got like the matching suits and they're walking the white suits stuff. Kind of similar setup like that with each of the characters walking, saying we need to get to the bottom of this, but not showing us who the villain is or what really a grasp of what the story is. They hit a lot of that and just kept flashing a lot of action pieces that were cool, but didn't really reveal anything.
Yeah.
So movie comes out next year. We'll probably get a more legitimate story trailer at some point there. You move into the next film, Fantastic Four. It's cool. Director comes out. Obviously, same guy worked on WandaVision. He talks about how like he loves that '60s kind of aesthetic, and then how Fantastic Four is kind of like an Elseworld '60s that's also kind of futuristic. So it's kind of like it's the '60s meets the
It's
Jetsons, if that makes sense.
Tomorrowland.
It's Tomorrowland.
Yeah.
Thank you. And then like you have from there like all this way of just like you have this way being um of just being like secretive, and they don't have much to say, but then they tell us, you know what, we're gonna show you guys some previs. We haven't even started shooting. They started shooting on Monday of this week is when they actually started
Oh,
shooting for
really?
the
Okay.
film. So they were in
Oh,
London. They
yeah,
did some
because they,
screen
they
tests.
they were flying out like that same afternoon, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Like they
Yeah.
literally
Yeah.
left
Yeah.
Comic Con, went straight to London.
Yep.
They did some stuff of just like screen testing and some visual effects stuff that was just kind of testing. And he said, look, we put together this sizzle to give you an idea of just like the feeling and the mood and the vibe of this movie, but it's not actually like shot until we start shooting on Monday. But then they basically the stuff they show us is like Pedro as Mr. Fantastic, like teaching in a school. And it's like a chalkboard, and he's like doing this whole equation. It's like all these kids, and they're just kind of bored. And then he's like, "You guys want an explosion?" Like, yeah, cool. And he just like makes like a cosmic explosion. You get to see like all of them in like their spacesuits together walking around. Something seems a little different about Johnny. Johnny's not like the flyboy kind of playboy cool kind of thing. He
Okay.
was he was more he seemed more timid in the scenes that they show, reserved. In fact, Sue Storm actually says something like, "Oh, like by the way, like my brother's single," like to everybody out there listening, and he just kind of like blushes and like pushes it off. We see something with the thing, like we see like the outline of the thing, where basically there's like a dating show, like a TV show, and the girl's like, oh, I choose to go out with contestant number three, and then like you see contestant number three is like the outline of the thing, which
Yeah.
looks great, like looks
Okay.
really really good. Um, and then like you get like a spaceship sequence, like showing them in a spaceship. That was like futuristic of them going out, and then the very last tease that they just all of a sudden jump to is showing Galactus looking into some type of studio apartment looking kind of
Right.
spot, maybe New York, maybe another planet, I don't know. But still was really fun. And then they brought out the cast. They talked a little bit. They flew the actual
The
car over
car.
us in the audience, which is
Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah.
But it's really really fun. And then like Feige says, by the way, the entire Fantastic Four will be in our next two Avengers films. And talk about the Avengers. Let's make an announcement. Screen goes black, shows us some scenes for the Winter Soldier, Infinity War, Civil War, Endgame, and then big on the screen, the Russos are back. Joe and Anthony Russo take the stage. Everything that you've seen online for the most part. Let's talk about Secret Wars. We're doing this thing. We love it. It's a comic that we really have enjoyed. Anthony Russo talks about how like he grew up reading it, how he thinks it's like one of the most ambitious storylines in all of comics, and it's like we thought we were done with Endgame, but this is what what we're doing with this, and we're coming back, and it's, you can't get rid of us yet. They joke, and then that's when they say like, if we're gonna do that, we need to have another character show up, and that's when the Doomsday thing pulls up on the screen. Like Doomsday is gonna be
Right.
first before you get to Secret Wars, and that's when you get the all of a sudden the Dooms take the stage, and they're singing and they're kind of European style, like choir, oh, whatever coming through. And then they separate to reveal RDJ takes the mask off and he's Doom. And that's how they end the panel. They say, this is Victor Von Doom.
Okay. How do you feel about it?
Um,
That's what I want to know. I'm still very conflicted.
no, so here's the thing. I talked to a few people about this because I had heard about this beforehand. And you and I talked about this a little bit beforehand offline. Like I had heard about the rumor because it came from a legitimate source, but the same source shot down and said, "Hey, they're actually not going to do this."
Right.
And I I see that they're at this place where like they have to go back to their guns. They have to go back to what's successful. So bring the Russos back makes sense. Bring RDJ makes sense. But what I didn't want them to do was to be like, well, it's Tony Stark that turned into Doom. Like, I don't want that storyline. I understand that that's a comic book storyline,
Right.
but I don't want that.
Right.
And it's obvious that there's
So,
clearly a
but-
tie-in.
So we're probably not gonna see him without the mask at all.
I don't think so, man.
More than likely.
I don't know.
I don't
So,
think we'll see him at all. And we see him is gonna be like some Oppenheimer type of like makeup where, like
be.
yeah.
I just think that I became more okay with it because when they brought him on stage, they said this is Victor Von Doom. They didn't say this is Tony Stark
Right.
or this is Doom. They said this is Victor Von Doom. And that to me made me feel better because I'm saying he's not playing a variant of Tony Stark that just turned him to go evil. Like he's like Victor Von Doom's always been Victor Von Doom.
Right.
If Tony Stark was the one who saved the universe, the I am Iron Man, the snap of the finger, amazing cinematic moment, and then you have another someone who shares the face but is a different person be the same one to bring doom to the entire universe. It's kind of poetic in its own way. There's a comic book that's been shared with me that I'm looking through. I'm not super well versed in it, but there is a comic book where essentially Doctor Doom in one universe actually kills Tony Stark. They go to college together. His mother was a witch, and like that's how he learns like magic and stuff. His parents
Right.
get murdered. Father was an inventor. He goes to like MIT or something, and in college, he gets into a fight with like Tony Stark and actually kills him. Takes his Tony Stark designs and uses those things to make between magic and technology to make his suit and to make the Doom bots and to take control of the world. And he thinks he's a hero for the world. It's not like he's doing this just because he's angry. There's more to it than that.
Right.
I think that's what the route they're going to go. I don't think it's going to be exactly that. Like they'll do it how they do it. It's Marvel, it's TV. It is not. It's not. They're sorry, Marvel Films. This is not a comic book direct adaptation. Let's be real. Civil War is not the same as it is in the comics. But there are pillars and there's storylines and things that they're doing. I think that's what they're going for. And when they ended the panel, the Russo brothers basically begged the fans and said, "Hey, give us a chance. Give us a chance. Please have an open mind, and let's see what happens."
Right.
But yeah, man, I don't know how you feel about it, but that's just how I feel.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like from a buzz point of view, like creating buzz around, it's like, oh, this is going to be the next big thing for Marvel. I think that's it's a slam dunk, right? Um, it just seems a little bit desperate, and but again, I can see that Marvel is putting the effort to course correct the like post Endgame, post No Way Home uh, MCU. They're good. They want to leave She-Hulk behind and Eternals behind and all these projects and even the Strange for what it was, right? It feels like they really care about it and they really want to leave the missteps behind, and that's great. Is he the right man for the job? Sure, why not? Right?
Yeah.
Could it have been someone else? Yeah, too. And that's the thing, right? I'm cool with it. I'm just not like necessarily excited, but I'm fine. Like I'm not gonna, you know, he's a great actor. Whatever he does, he's gonna do it, and he's gonna be fine. Um, I just feel like they should have given the opportunity to another actor.
No, I
But
understand.
yeah,
I understand.
but he's gonna be great at it.
No, I
There's no
understand.
question about that. So
There's other actors I would have. If it was me, I probably would not have gone this route. But clearly, Bob Iger coming back here and saying like, "Let's bring back the Russos, bring back people." How do you get RDJ back? Well, you get him back by doing something different. Because I don't think he's going to come back to do the same
right,
shtick again.
right,
That makes sense. So I think that's just how they. Yeah,
I agree.
that's how
Yeah,
they know they're going to make money.
I don't know if you saw a video that Theory put out there
No.
about. Okay, so Theory put out a video about uh the disconnect inside Disney where Marvel is course correcting and doing and taking the right steps to, course correct after some of the missteps. Because I don't want to say that everything has been bad. I think Shang-Chi was fine. Spider-Man was fine, but then you get Miss Marvel and the Marvels and Eternals and now Agatha and Ironheart, like stuff that no one asks about, right? And I don't, I'm not saying I haven't watched Agatha or Ironheart, right? I'm not
Right.
saying, right? I'm not saying that
Right.
there's going to be another She-Hulk.
We don't know.
But they sure seem open to, hey, why not just go back and do the thing that everyone loved? And
I
then
agree.
why isn't Star Wars doing it and they keep experimenting with this, like people that have like no clue what they're doing. I'm just straight up. I'm sorry, right? Um, and he was just ranting about us like, why doesn't Star Wars just course correct and bring someone that actually cares and let those 4 writers go that they're trash and get someone that can actually write stuff. So from the business standpoint, it's a stroke of genius. It's one of those rare like stroke of genius, right? It's like, oh yeah, let's bring back the good guy, but make him bad now. Um, I think that's great. We'll see. He's gonna be fine. Like regardless, I know that he's gonna do a great job, right? again, I just feel like they should have given the opportunity to another actor, but I'm cool with it. Like
I
I'm
agree.
fine. So
I agree. Yeah, it's not something that makes me angry. That we did a
yeah, not at
fun
all.
clickbait
Yeah,
title here, but it's also like not the route that I would have expected or wanted to go. But I think I have faith because of who's involved in the project and the talent, all this that it will still be a really fun, really cool, film. So I'm excited for Doomsday. And I feel like it's kind of the same. If you think about it, you take a step back. Literally feel like they are doing Infinity War Endgame again, but in a different storyline. I'm not saying it's like copy and paste, but it's like Doomsday they'll probably will lose, like how Infinity War they lose, and then in Endgame, all will be made right,
right.
But just doing it with a new storyline, and I'm okay with that.
Yep. Cool. Yeah, man. It's good. Like I mentioned with Deadpool, like there's nothing that significantly points at what's next. But they do give you like it ends in where this thing could go places. So yeah, it's cool. And you'll see it when you watch it. You'll see what I mean, especially now that those announcements are out, right? So yeah, man, it was good. I think it was good. I think they had a good show. Because they needed to reassure the fan base. Listen, we heard you, and we're gonna work on getting back to where we were, and we're making moves. So hang tight. Did they say it was 2026 for Doomsday or
Yeah, Doomsday's in 2 years, so
yeah
2026, and then you have 2027 is the Secret Wars.
yeah
So they're clearly filming them together.
yeah cool
Yeah, that was like the big culmination because then Sunday was cool. I just did some more like industry kind of stuff. I went to a panel with the X Men '97 voice cast, which was great hearing some of their personal stories, and then and then got to hear from some of the composers, the Kiner family that does the composition for Clone Wars and Rebels and Tales of the Jedi and
oh for the
any
animation
of those other animation stuff, which was really great.
cool
Um, and oh my goodness! Oh, so speaking of X Men '97, I have a funny story for you.
yeah
So while I'm waiting in line for Hall H on Friday, me and the other people that were in the group together waiting online, we're just like we hear them talk about like Baudemeo like coming out like to like the line, like he's gonna be coming to the line where everyone is.
oh wow, okay
And I'm like, wait, what? And we're trying to understand what's going on. And lo and behold, while I'm in line and I messaged about it,
yeah
they bring him like he comes out and he comes over and I'm like, oh my gosh, he's comes over and he sits in the line, sits in one of the chair, the beach chairs, whatever the guys had out there on this area that we're waiting, and just sitting there and just talking. And I'm thinking to myself, no way this guy's here waiting in line. I'm like, if he's sitting in line, like things had to have been really bad between him and Marvel, you know? Like there had to like there's no way because like this guy would still be able to get in the room. Like there's no but anyways, I end up then finding out later on because I left to go to something else. He ended up taking pictures with people. I left too soon. I couldn't get the pictures with them. Um, but I ended up finding out that actually that was not the case. That one of the guys in the lines actually tweeted at him, said, "Hey, we're waiting in the sun here in this line. Like shot is shot," and basically said like, "Hey, would you come by and just say hi to his fans?" And he actually was, "Yeah, sure," and he just showed
oh
up and
yeah
did it.
okay
I was
okay
like a
okay
good gesture. So it wasn't what I thought it was originally.
right
Ironically, he was telling, according to people that around me, someone asked him about it, and he began to say something about, well, what happened was, and I kid you not, there was a Crunchyroll concert that was happening right next to where we were. They were doing a sound test. They were doing music for a bunch of the different Bayonetta and different games we were doing the live performances for, and they just started playing it at the same time he was talking, so couldn't hear what the
Oh,
story was. Like, we want to know the tea, what happened. I digress. I heard from someone else who has some, they know some people in the industry, someone from Los Angeles. I spoke to him while I was out there, and they told me from what they had heard, and it's all hearsay.
okay, okay.
This is a fact. I'm not trying to defame this guy or anything, but the allegations was that he was very difficult to work with creatively. That he made things hard on everybody that was working around him. People did not like working with him. He was very challenging in that way, and that's when they just decided to go their separate ways because of a lot of problems behind the scenes with that. If that's true, I don't know. But
Right,
that's
right, right.
better in some ways. That's like a better situation than
Right,
what
right.
some of those minds might have been. You know.
We're not looking at an Ezra Miller scenario here. He didn't choke anyone.
Exactly.
That's reassuring, at least. Yeah. Good stuff, dude. I'm glad you had a great time, and I can't wait to see what you got in store